Hello everyone. In this lecture we will learn priority scheduling algorithm. Now as the name suggests you, it's based on the priority, right? Now here the priority that will be assigned to each and every processes. So this scheduling algorithm that will choose the, the particular process based on the priority, right? So here the scheduler chooses the priority of the task and then they will execute according to their preference which is assigned to them by the scheduler. The process which has the highest priority will be first processed by the CPU, and the process which has the lowest priority will be executed by the CPU when the current process terminates its execution. So here what is happening? The CPU will assign the priority to each and every processes. Now this priority that is the highest priority in terms of, you can say, some CPU consider the lowest number as the highest priority. For example, okay, for example, lowest number means few of the CPU will consider as 1 as the highest priority and 2 as the next highest priority. So this is the sequence ascending order: 1, 2, 3, highest, then next, like this way. Few of the CPU will consider that's a highest number as a highest priority, then the lowest number, next priority is the next priority, like this way. So here we will consider the priority that is in ascending order, that's the lowest number we will consider as a highest priority. Okay, so we'll start with the priority scheduling algorithm. Now again, this scheduling algorithm that is divided into the two category: non-preemptive priority algorithm and the preemptive priority algorithm. So both of the algorithm we will see with the example. So just remember, the scheduler will select the process based on the priority, the priority that is assigned to each process. You can see here the priorities. Now here we will consider the lowest number as the highest priority, right? The lowest number 1 as the highest priority, next lowest number, that's a 2, as the next higher priority, next 3 as the next highest priority. So this way we will consider the priority and we will select one by one processes, right? So we'll start with the first of all non-preemptive priority scheduling algorithm. So we'll start drawing the Gantt chart for the given 5 processes, right? So the Gantt chart here for the these processes. Now here at the 0 millisecond. Okay, again I am talking about the arrival time, that is reminding you that at 0 millisecond we are assuming at 0 millisecond all the processes are available into the ready queue. So no arrival time is given, so we will assuming arrival time is 0 millisecond for each and every processes. So at 0 millisecond, how many processes into the ready queue? That's a P1, P2, P3, P4 and P5. Okay, now we have to just compare the priority and we will select the processes among these 5 processes. So at 0 millisecond, which process will first enter into the CPU? So highest priority with the process P2. Okay, so it will enter into the CPU first and it will complete its execution up to the 1 millisecond. Okay, it requires only 1 millisecond for the execution. Next priority is a process P5. You can see the priority is 2. So how many burst timing is required? 5 milliseconds. So P5 will complete it's 5 millisecond. So 1 plus 5, it's a 6, right? Okay, so 1 plus 5, that's a 6. Next one. So next priority is a 3. But here the priority 3 which will assign to the two of the process P3 and P1. So you can say this is a tie between the two processes. Our algorithm is a priority and the next chance, that is selection, is out of these two processes. So whenever the tie, always consider the first come first serve algorithm. So first process which comes, that's a P1. We will consider that P1 is first come, then next come P3, that is into the sequence into the ready queue. So we'll select the P1 because it comes first, then the P3. So P1, which requires how many burst timing? That's a 10. So 10, 6 plus 10, that's a 16, right? So next priority is of P3, right? So P3 required how many burst timing? It requires the 2. So 16 plus 2, that is a 18. Okay, and next priority, that is of P4, right? So next priority of P4, that's a fourth priority. So we will enter the P4 and it requires the 1 millisecond again. Okay, so it is a 19. Okay, with this our Gantt chart is over. Okay, it's all right. It is drawn properly with the all the burst timing. Okay, fine. So with this Gantt chart is over. So that's a non-preemptive priority schedule. Why it is a non-preemptive? Because at 0 millisecond we are entering the P2. P2 having the highest priority, right? But still, if the another process is coming which is having the highest priority than the P2, okay, then also we are not swapping out the P2 because it is a non-preemptive, right? So the non-preemptive, once the process is enters into the CPU, it will not leave the CPU till it will complete its execution. So that's a non-preemptive approach. Now we will start finding the waiting time. Waiting time for the each and every process is P1, right? The response is generated the P1 response is generated at not the 0 millisecond, at the 6 millisecond first time P1 enters into the CPU. That's the first response. Minus 0 arrival time, so it's a 6. P2, it is having the first response is generated at the 0, arrival is 0, so it's a 0. P3, first response is generated at the 16, means at the 16 millisecond it enters into the CPU and arrival is 0, so it's a 16. P4, first response, first it enters into the CPU at the 18 millisecond and arrival is a 0, so it's a 18. And P5, first response, it's a 1 millisecond and enters into the CPU at 1 millisecond and arrival is 0, so it's a 1. So there's a waiting time for each and every process is same way. Turnaround time for each process is P1, that is equal to waiting time 6 plus burst time 10. Sorry, it's a 16. P2, waiting time 0 plus burst time 1. So it is a 1 millisecond. This way P3, 16 plus 2, that is equal to 18. P4, 18 plus 1, that is equal to 19. And P5, that is equal to 1 plus 5. Sorry. It is 1 plus 5, that is equal to 6. Okay, so with that you can easily calculate the average waiting time here and average turnaround time. Summation of all these divide by 5, summation of all this turnaround time divide by 5. So here I will write the average waiting time, that is equal to 8.2 millisecond, and average turnaround time, that is equal to 12 millisecond. Okay, so with this we are completing this example of non-preemptive priority scheduling algorithm, right? Next one we are going to see the another example of the similar non-preemptive priority scheduling algorithm, right? But here the difference is that here there is no arrival time. Here the arrival time is given, so we have to consider the arrival time as well as the priority and select the one of the process and execute according to the burst time. So that's the way we are executing the process, and we are drawing the Gantt chart. Okay, so we will draw the Gantt chart for this. Okay, non-preemptive priority algorithm. Okay, at the 0 millisecond. Okay, again starting with the 0 millisecond. Okay, at 0 millisecond here the arrival time is given, so go according to the arrival time. At what time how many processes are there into the ready queue? So at 0 millisecond how many processes into the ready queue? That is only the, you can say, P1. Okay, P1 is available, so that is at 0 millisecond the priority of the P1, that is a 1. Okay, no other processes are available into the ready queue, so we are not comparing this process, this P1 with the other processes. So you can say we are not applying the algorithm. By default we are entering the P1 into the CPU. So there is a non-preemptive approach. We are not removing the P1 if new process will come and having the higher priorities. So here the burst time of the P1 is a 5 millisecond. That is over. Now you can say here 5 millisecond, up to the 5 millisecond you can see the arrival time 0 1 2 3. So up to 3 millisecond only the processes are arrived. So P1 completed 5 milliseconds, so up to 5 millisecond all the processes are now available into the ready queue. So now we will just see the priority, no need to consider now the arrival time, because up to this all the processes are arrived, right? So priority, now the process P1 has already completed its execution. Now the comparison among these processes, so now we will enter the process P3. This is a non-preemptive, so we will complete the execution of the P3. That is, P3 required the 8 millisecond burst time. 5 plus 8, it's a 13. Next we will enter the next highest priority of process, that's a P2, right? So P2 having the second priority, so we will enter and it complete its execution with the 3 millisecond. 13 plus 3, it's a 16. And last one we are entering the process P4, which requires the 6 milliseconds. So 16 plus 6, that's a 22 millisecond through total throughput, right? So here the Gantt chart with the arrival time applying the non-preemptive priority scheduling algorithm. Okay, so we will finding the waiting time again for each processes P1. Okay, for the P1 process having the first response generated by the CPU, it's 0 millisecond P1, and it arrives at the 0 millisecond, so waiting time is 0. P2 first response means first it enters into the CPU at what millisecond? 13 millisecond, right? And it arrives at 1 millisecond, so total waiting time, that's a 12 millisecond. P3, that is, first response is generated at 5 millisecond and it arrives at the 2 millisecond, so total waiting time, that's a 3 millisecond. P4, that is having the first response at 16 millisecond. At 16 millisecond it enters into the CPU, that's the first response, minus its arrival time 3 milliseconds, so it's a 13. So with this waiting time for each process that is completing. Now the turnaround time, as you know, it is a waiting time plus burst time. So for the P1 turnaround time, that is 0 plus 5, that is a 5. P2, that is equal to, you can say, waiting time 12 and the burst time 3, so 15. P3, waiting time is 3 and the burst time 8. It's 11. P4 waiting time, P4 waiting time is a 13 and the burst time it requires, it's a 6, so it's a 9. So here you are having the waiting time for each process is and the turnaround time for the each process is, and you can easily find out the average waiting time and turnaround time. Okay, I'm not doing right now. We will switch to the now next example, which is a, you can say, preemptive priority scheduling. Up to this we have seen the non-preemptive. Now the preemption is there. So remember the preemption is, right now we are dealing with the preemption means if currently running process having the less priority than the newly arrived process, then we will preempt the CPU. We will swap out the currently running process and swap in the newly arrived process. So with this, we'll start drawing the Gantt chart. Okay, for this, right? So see the example here. In this example, you can see the process P1, P2, P3, P4 arrival time is given. So consider this arrival time, there's a burst time and there's a priority. But here it is a preemption. So at every 1 millisecond your CPU will come out and check how any other processes that is available into the ready queue or not. Okay, so we'll start with the 0 millisecond. At 0 millisecond, which process, how many process? So it is only P1, so compulsory we will enter the P1, whether it is highest priority or the lowest priority. We will not checking in right now because no other processes are available into the CPU. So at 1 millisecond your CPU will come out, or your scheduler. So here P1 has completed, so here it is 5. 1 millisecond, so that's why it is 5. We will check any other process. Okay, at 1 millisecond P2 is there, so P2 is having the priority 1, which is higher than the P1, so we will swap out P1 having the remaining time 5, so swap out the P1 and swap in the P2. So your P2 will enter, P2 will execute the 1 millisecond, so 1 plus 1 2 here, 1 is completed, so 4, and it will check any other process at 2 millisecond. No, so P2 again will continue. So at 3 millisecond P2 again, here it is 3, and it will check, your scheduler will check at 3 millisecond any other process. Okay, it is P3. What is the priority? It is just 2, so it is not higher than the P2, so we will continue with the P2, right? So P2 again continue, and here at the 4 millisecond another process P4 which arrives, which is having the priority 3, which is also not the higher than the P2, so we will not swap out the P2, and all the processes are now arrived into the ready queue, so no need to now check for the arrival time. We will complete the P2 remaining time. So P2 now remains required only 3 millisecond. 4 plus 3, it's a 7 millisecond. Okay, it's a 7 or 6. Okay, P2 has completed here 1 2 3, and okay, here only 5 4 3. At 4 millisecond we are not written here, it's a 2, so remaining only 2. So see, sorry, okay, so remaining is only 2, so 4 plus 2 6 here. Okay, so now next one, that is, now this P2 has completed its execution. All the processes are into the ready queue. All are arrived, so we will not consider the arrival time. We'll just check the algorithm, that is a priority, so we will compare the priority only. So here the priority, next priority is 2 2, which is a tie between these two processes P1 and P3, right? So among this P1 and P3, the first come first serve algorithm we will apply because it is a tie. So first one that will be selected, that is a P1, how much it requires, that P1 requires the 5 only, 6 plus 5, that is 11, right? So that is 11. Next will be selected, that is a P3, which requires the 4 millisecond. So it is a 11 plus 4, 15. And last one we are selecting, that's a P4. Okay, it requires the 5 milliseconds, so it is a 20, right? So this is a Gantt chart for the preemptive privacy. Here the preemption is applied, P1 is come out here, and again it enters here at 6 millisecond, right? So that's a preemption. So we will start finding the waiting time according to the swap out and swap in process P1. That is P1, first response time generated 0, arrives at 0, plus when it comes out from step out from the CPU, that's a 1 millisecond, again it enters into the CPU at 6 milliseconds. So it is a 6 minus 1, so it's a 5 millisecond. So P2, that is first response is generated at 1 millisecond and arrives at 1 millisecond, so waiting time is 0 millisecond. P3, first response is generated at the 11 millisecond and arrives at 3 milliseconds, so it is 8. P4, first response is generated at the 15 millisecond and arrives at 4 millisecond, so it is 11 millisecond. So you can easily calculate the average waiting time. I'm not calculating now the turnaround time. I'm again calculate yourself. The equation is waiting time plus burst timing for each and every process, P1, P2, P3, P4, and then find out the average. Okay, so with this we are completing our priority scheduling algorithm, which is having the two category, non-preemptive and preemptive. And with that algorithm we have seen the example and calculated the average waiting time and turnaround time. Okay, thank you.